Hello guys, so Jerry speaking. Welcome to LJPCBM episode number 1163. Today we're reacting to Purple Road's podcast episode number 86. Pal Connell, BJ Body Actor from Body's Big Surprise. We had this begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm Carrie Stinson, and my journey through life has been quite an adventure. For over 20 years, I played Barney the Dinosaur on tour, and 7 seasons of the hugely popular TV show, Barney and Friends. Now my journey is to bring together friends and guests from all over the entertainment world for inspiring and at times amusing behind-the-scenes conversation. I'm Carrie Stinson, and this is Purple Roads.
Welcome to Purple Roads. My name is Carrie Stinson. And as always, I'm doing great. I'm thrilled you're here. And, I do listen to you fans. You've been asking for Barney people. Well, guess who I have? I've got one of my really good friends. This is very special. I was with Barney for 22 years. The first 5 years, I did a lot of promotion. And then I went on tour with Barney's Big Surprise. It really changed my life. All the people on that tour are my family. And we've got one of those family members today. I'm so excited to have Pat O'Connell, who was one of the actors that played BJ on that tour. And Pat, man, how are you? It's so good to see you. We haven't seen each other in so long.
So long. Oh my gosh. It's crazy you mentioned that because when we met, this is what my babies look like. Yeah.
I remember.
Whoa.
1 and 2.5. Yep. And
In 96.
Yeah, and
Wow.
now this guy here is now 28 as of the 24th and married. So I have a new daughter-in-law. So,
Wow.
yeah.
As I'm taping this, it was released on December 3rd, 2021. So this might be taped on January 16th, 2023, which is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Continue on.
It's May 1st, so it's a mind blow. It's a mind blow. Time flies, and it's like, nah, it wasn't. And it's like, here we are. It's like, wow. I mean, you look exactly the same. It's just like, you didn't age at all. You look great.
Well, thank you. And you look great, too. And that would have been Las Colinas, right, where we first met?
And it was Las Vegas, yes. Yeah, man. I mean, for me, from a guy who came from a blue-collar background, and how I found out about it, I still like, it's one of those things where you gotta you gotta commit. He's like, this is probably was one of the craziest things I ever did, but I'm glad I did it, because I would be, if I went back in time, I'd just beat myself up like, you gotta do it, and I did it, and I loved it, and I love the Barney family. You got to do it yourself, and everybody else I got to meet. Because when we were on hiatus, I'm like, I want to go back tomorrow. I don't want to see my parents. I don't want to see my aunts and uncles. They don't give a care. But those days were fantastic.
Well, we're going to talk all about those days. Big Surprise was an unbelievable tour. In the kids' world, they'd never seen anything like it. The success of it. We were doing 7 shows a week. It was just a massive production.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get all into that with you, Pat.
Okay.
So, because I don't, it's what I love about doing the show is that I'm going to learn something each week. I know I'm going to learn some things I didn't know about you. And I have no idea how you actually found out about the tour, how you were asked to it, auditions, all that. So how did you get involved with Barney and the Big Surprise tour?
Again, it was a total fluke how I found out about it. You might remember a guy named Mike Hagan.
Oh, sure. Mike
Yeah,
Hagan.
he came to visit us from Crown Point. I was working at the horse stamping plant in Fort Heights, and I was laid off at the time. And he's like, Pat, did you hear about Barney's looking for BJ and Davy Bob? I'm like, no, what are you talking about? I'm like, they want to go on tour, and they are desperate for a BJ and a Davy Bob. And these guys are, auditioning. Half the people can't dance. Half the people are claustrophobic. So they're
Mm.
like, I know you can dance. And
Mhm.
here's the number and give him a call. And I
Mm.
did. And he visits on a weekend.
And
Give him
had
a
you ever
call.
been in a had you ever been in a suit?
No, he'd never been in a suit either. So it was both new for both of us. Um,
Um.
but yeah, for me, it was just like, again, I was laid off, so I was like, what the heck, So I gave a call on Monday.
Mhm.
Wednesday, we had plane tickets in our hand with my ex-wife, Nancy O'Connell at the time.
Yep.
And then Friday, we were in Las Colinas for an audition.
Wow.
And so they said we got a call Monday. We like what you guys are doing and everything. The
Wow.
following Friday, we had contracts in our hands. Like, let's go. I was like, wow, this is, it was just like stellar. I was like, this is not what I thought how quick it was going to be, but it was.
So
And,
so tell me, I just got to jump in here. It's fascinating. What was the audition? I mean, you've never done this before. What was the audition? How did you do
The
it?
audition, what I can vaguely remember was it was a prop from one of the sets, and it was I had the head on of
Yeah.
and they wanted to
Mhm.
see my ability to go up and down stairs.
Right.
And of course, Penny Wilson, she showed me how to dance, do this
Okay.
number, and
The,
a little
the amazing Penny, the amazing
Yeah.
Penny Wilson.
Yeah. I'll come right back. Alright, I'm back. Just got some water and felt like I need to get back to reacting. Continue on.
Oh, yeah. And for the song in the background, so I just matched the beat and everything, and did the head bounce the voice of BJ, and he's like, very good, very good. We'll get back with you, and they did. So it was pretty fast, to be honest.
Wow.
The rehearsal part, that was the hard part. That was.
Well, so how did Nancy get involved?
Nancy had the same thing. She was like right after me, and she put on that heavy. A lot of people don't know that baby pop head is much heavier than the DJ had.
Right.
Wow.
She did the same thing. She managed to do the number also, and they liked her work just like me. So it worked out well. But as you know, we had a little hook in there.
Yeah.
We made that happen. We made that happen. God must have been looking down on us because we had Coco, if you remember her, through one of the child actors.
Yeah.
And while we were performing, she was watching our kids. And it just worked out perfect.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I remember that. Well, that's part of that whole Barney, the Barney magic and the Barney, the family aspect of it. That all worked out like that did.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's just like maybe I don't know. Like I had zero background in dance, and here I am bumping shoulders with people that are professional dancers. I mean, there was Wayne, Camille, and a few names, David Voss.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah, and Barry Pearl, of course.
Right.
And here I'm going like.
Well, I don't know about professional dancer Barry Pearl, but
Wow.
he did have some moves, and he does watch this. He'll come find me, but.
But yeah, I used to when I was younger. I used to go, well, went to the nightclubs at night and dance and all that and learn the moves. And when I was even younger, I used to watch Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, and I just learned watch how they just flowed and hit the beats and everything. I guess it just sunk in, and I brought it to the Barney family. And it worked out beautifully.
I love that. I love that. So you kind of alluded to it, but so you get the job. Now you got to go through rehearsals. What was that experience like for you?
I was nervous. I got to be honest with you. It was wide open space. Penny, she just like she would show how to do it and everything. And I'm actually a perfectionist. So I would stop myself and like, no, let's go back, let's start it again. And over and over and over. So I was more on me than she was on. So I wanted to get it right for everybody.
Wow.
But I loved it. it was magical to be honest with this thing because you see like it's a hard connection, but Dancing with the Stars, you see them in their studios and everything. But I remember our room was ginormous. It could have been a warehouse for all I know. But
Well, it was a studio in Las Colinas. It was one of the big studios.
yeah. But I remember one part, and I think you might have been there, or maybe not. Where Barry Pearl was sleeping at the time,
Oh yeah.
and all the kids and all the woke him up, and and of course Barry, how animated he is, he's like, what's going on here?
Wow.
And that's the first time I met somebody from Hollywood. I was like, wow, this is like intense for my mind. I'm just a nobody. But just the family embraced me as time came on, and I just gave my 110% every night. It just I loved it. I wish I could go back. We can, but and every day I love going to work.
Yeah, it was such an amazing experience. It's interesting because most of you guys were all new to the Barney world. I had been with them, and David Voss had been with them, but really everyone else, cast wise, and Barry Pearl had done that video of the TV special, but all of you were new coming in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and I gotta tip my hat to the casting. So that's hard to do. To have complete strangers mesh together perfectly. And, I mean, it's kind of like an office, but a mobile office, so to say.
Well, yeah, but our office is 9 months out of the year, week to week.
Wow.
and we're performing to sold out shows. So
Yeah.
all right, we got through auditions, we got through rehearsals, and then we go to Fort Worth. Okay, so what is that experience now? Because now it's kind of the beginning. And for you, for me, I lived in Dallas, so I felt like I hadn't left yet. But for a lot of you, you're already on the road, right? You're already on the road. So we're in Fort Worth, staying at the Green Oaks, which
I just remember the name. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I'm saying it's no longer there. But we stayed at the Green Oaks and then performing, in the Coliseum. We call it a cow barn, but and it's still there. Fort Worth.
Wow.
In Fort Worth, I've actually moved closer to it. But what was that like for you when you actually get on a stage and you now see this empty arena and you're going to be performing in front of large crowds?
Yeah, I never, like I said, I had a little bits and pieces in Chicago. I did like a Leprechaun. I did a part of Wizard of Oz and everything. The mayor of Munchen City.
Sure.
So I had a big speech, but that was 800. So I'm going into 3,000 to 5,000. So
wow.
I get the roar when Barney, appeared on stage. My eyes, even though I was in costume, the costumes out of my head. Oh, this is something you better not screw up. Because it's live, brother. It's like,
right.
Yeah. But what as you know, because of the costume, you can only see so far.
Sure.
What kept me going and also kept other performers going is seeing those kids dance around the stage energized me. It's just like, you know what, these kids are dying to see Barney, DJ, and Baby Bob. Give them the best show you can. And I did the best I could, and I really loved it. It was, and for me, like that, it goes back. When we had the costume fitting, and we got the wrap around the felt around my face and all that. And I remember saying to the designer or they're fitting me, custom made and everything. I just said, I always wanted to do this. And the person's like, oh, okay, whatever. But being that I'm doing it for the Barney family, doing for these kids, doing at the time, Barney was number one. I think that was just blew my mind. I just really, really loved it. Being on stage and doing what I was.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Now, because I want to talk. I'm excited to talk about this because that first year we weren't switching, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was
Right.
two of us, but you, me, and Lee were going out every night as the number one. So we were
Mm-hmm.
doing, a big majority of that show.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Boy, did that play a toll on our physicality.
Mm-hmm.
As I recall, we started getting to February and March, and the three of us were, you know what I'm talking about. We were a little worn down.
It's funny you mention that because I do remember after the very first show, and I grabbed 2 bottles of water and I drank that down. I was afraid like water, but I just drank that down like 24 ounces. Just went down me like with no problem at all because I was just beat after the very first show. It just the adrenaline, just
Mm-hmm.
finally, came up off me, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I did it. I really did. And then everybody telling me, Pat, you did a great job. You did really well for somebody who's never done it before. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And it just mostly coming from you, Mr. With a past history of dancing in a body a costume. He said, Pat, you did really well. That meant so much to me too.
Well, you did awesome. You did awesome. It's hard to explain to people the challenges of it, right? Because you have the costume, obviously, so
Mm-hmm.
you're limited your view, all of that. You've got to remember the dances. You've got to watch
Mm-hmm.
out for everyone, right? The
Yep,
kids, you don't know where
that's
the
good.
kids are going to go, all that. And then, like you said, you pop out there in front of 5,000 people. It's a lot of energy. Where did you start realizing? And going back to the last question and last talking about the physicality of it,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And so the first night you realize, how much water you're drinking. When you start realizing, I better start stretching a little bit. I better start,
Mm-hmm.
because we got a long run, right? I mean, we went 9 months that first year.
Yeah, at first, like I said, when we put on the winter silks and all that, I was like, what is this stuff? What is this supposed to do? And like, trust me, put it down because you slide on
Mm-hmm.
the costume and then it absorbs all your perspiration. So after the first half, after they took it off, I'm like, oh my lord, am I
Yes.
perspiring that much? I'm like, yes, you are. Because you add in the hot lights too. People forget about that, and then
Mm-hmm.
you're walking in the heater.
Yeah, but wasn't there a point for you where you're really focusing on what you're doing, right? You're able to kind of walk away from the physicality. I mean, you're aware you're tired and you're aware you need water and you're aware of those things, but you're so focused on, make sure I get Mr. Knickerbocker right and make sure I don't bump into this person. And right? Are you focused on all that?
Yeah, oh yeah. I think that was probably. I think that when we stretched, like I said, I had my Looney Tunes slippers on. I had my purple robe, and I would stretch, and I would listen to Shania Twain at the time. And even though I did not feel like a woman, I would be stretching to that song.
Wow. Wow. Wow,
People don't
Pat.
know I'm a very visual person, and I have seen what he's talking about. That is a heck of a visual right there. I didn't know about the
Yes,
Shania Twain. I
exactly.
told you I'd learned some things. I can. Wow, that's
I
just
remember walking one time with that on, with the purple and they like just the local stagehand just gave me the look like, the hell is that? It was just like, hey, I'm backstage, no one's consuming me.
well, and you need to. I mean, let me tell you on something like that. You got to be you, right?
Yeah,
Whatever it takes to pull that off every night. Whatever you got to do, you got to do.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know you brought some props, and I've got some props too, and all that stuff. But that
Okay.
picture right back there,
Okay. Yeah,
you got it right.
yeah, I got some things you never throw away.
That's
got that
right.
one there.
You
Yeah.
got it. Do you remember?
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we went to New Orleans, so we still got this.
Oh goodness!
Yeah.
Wow.
Those chaps and Brady Brooks.
Wow.
Wow.
You even got the hat to boot, which
Well,
I don't.
yeah.
But I've got something extra special that nobody really has. I've got a wingnut award.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, it's funny you bring that
I got
up.
the bronze.
Yeah, but I got one too.
And
Yeah.
I was honored. To be honored by the crew. Like, you know what? All these different actors and dancers and everything, and
Yeah.
they looked at me like, "Yeah, you're wingnut too." I'm
Yeah.
like, really? I thought I was just, do my thing. No, Pat, you're a wingnut, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yes.
even though I'm just bronze, I'll take the bronze. I'm not
Yeah,
just
yeah. Yeah. Well, you know who has the third one, right?
This is the third.
Come on now. You know who's
Barry.
Barry Pearl, of course.
Mhm.
Barry Pearl, of course, has the third one. You, me, and Barry were
Wow.
one of those.
And I said I don't throw anything out. Remember this?
That's all. I have one of those in
Yeah,
the other room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hey, you're showing it, but talk about what it is.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Well,
Yeah.
this is the Big Barney Surprise Family Show Tour of the year 1997. And I remember that year David Copperfield was big, and we beat him out.
Wow.
And when I heard that, I was like, okay, we're huge. We're like the Rolling Stones, pretty much.
Well, we
Wow.
were for kids shows, and it's a funny thing. You almost get used to it, right? You almost get used to the fact that we were sold out every night.
Yeah, we got spoiled, to be honest with you. For me, I was like, wow, I don't want to remain in this business. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So talk about. I've actually never asked this question before, but talk about what it was like for you when you're on the road on a regular day.
A regular day. Okay.
Yep.
Well, see, that's the thing. So in the beginning, I
Yeah.
had the family, which was trying to keep Colin and Shannon occupied, and during the weekdays, our call time wasn't so fast.
Mhm.
So wherever we were, we went and see the sights. Like New York, we just walked around, the streets and everything, so we could see. Went with a lot of parks with the kids. Wow. Again, it depends where we were at. I try to find museums for the kids to see and that.
Mhm.
You try to just keep them we were always outside versus staying inside the hotel.
Yeah, and what time do those kids get up in the morning?
Well, they kind of slept in like their rehearsal. They have to keep up together here, really. But when they came to when we came to the shows, and everything during the weekdays, they kind of slept into like 10 o'clock. So
Wow.
they're happy kids.
That's great. I was afraid they were getting up early.
No. They're like we would start the day watching TV and everything, but I think another great thing, as you mentioned earlier, is the family. I mean, Wayne would pop up, or Michelle would pop up, or you would pop by, and it just Barry would pop by, and they would just light up, because you guys became our family on the road, and I loved it. Everybody got along so well. I'm trying to think of something that stood out. But yeah, the first half with the family, it was kind of tough. It was kind of tough, just trying to keep something to do with the kids.
Right.
As we know, the second half, it was just by myself.
Right.
And I had a lot of time on my hands, but I went sightseeing. One time I remember we were up in Albany, New York. I jumped on a Greyhound bus on our day off, went all the way up to Lake George by myself, and came all the way back. And some people looked at me like, don't do that ever again by yourself. Because you don't know who's on that bus, and you're part of our show. Yeah, so look at the big picture versus yourself next time. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't think about that.
Well, but see that, but that's it, right? You've never done this before, right? You're not in Hollywood. You're not been in the entertainment world,
Right.
right? You had an opportunity. You got on a plane. You audition. Next thing you know, you're traveling around the world. So the days with the kids. All right. So then you would go in at 5,
Mhm.
right? You guys would go. You guys would
Go to 5, yeah,
you
and
would
then
go in at 5
we get
o'clock.
in Coco Rutherford, because she was one of the aunts to
Yep.
can't think of his name right now. I know you know the name.
Yeah, to Antoine.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So she would be with them. She would be with them while we did the show. So we'd be back by like 9 o'clock.
Right.
And it just worked out perfect.
Oh, so you left him at the hotel.
Yeah, right. And just thank God for, like I said, thank God for Coco. Because when we started out, and I don't think I ever told anybody, when we started out, we had to go when we were in Dallas, when we were in St. Louis. We just opened up the phone book and we picked out these nannies or babysitting. And it wasn't until St. Louis, and when we came back after the show, that Shannon had a bruise on the back of her body. And I heard from one of those ladies, and then I just said, you got to do something now. And we just sat down with Coco and go, Coco, we will pay for everything that you need, your stays, your food. We need you. You're going to become part of our family. And from then on, it was smooth sailing for us.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great. So you get at the venue, and then because I'm kind of going here with what you did to prepare yourself every night.
What do I do to prepare myself every night? I used to have a lot of stretching. I guess, like I said, I was lucky. I guess, like that one since we had only it was 2 weeks of rehearsals, it just all locked in there. It's just like I would love to see myself on film and say, is he keeping step with everybody else? Am I doing the right stuff? I think that the biggest thing which I remember is when you're in studio versus you're on stage, you have to emphasize everything much larger so the person in the back of the room can see it. So instead of just going like this, I was going like this. So, a little help with Tylenol and ibuprofen every night. Yeah. I had some neck pain every so often, but the show must go on, and it's just all about, like you said, you gotta be, you gotta stretch every chance you can get. Yeah.
Right.
But I guess like it's funny you say that. I guess I got so used to it that it came second nature to me. Because we'd show up, we would eat, which when I thought about that afterwards, okay, so we're eating a large meal, it's going into our stomach, all the blood's going into the stomach. That's not a smart thing to do because you want the blood to be flowing throughout the body, not attacking here. So you're going to be in a nice warm costume, all sleepy. And
I didn't eat much before a show.
Yeah, that's where
I didn't do that. I would usually eat afterwards that night, and then I'd have a big lunch. But I usually skipped what was going on there for that reason.
Yeah, that's probably why I was using in the costume every so often.
Wow.
Pat, you in there? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm still here.
Well, you do. You do kind of go in your own world, right?
Oh yeah, because it's like the backstage is dark, and it was Barney has the big mouth, so he can see around. A lot of people don't know the BJ has a little monitor, so you're seeing black and white. And you really, because of the black and white, like kind of into your eyes, you can barely see anything. And thank goodness for Wranglers. So they were.
But it's funny you say I could see, like that.
Yeah.
We don't have the vision either. But you learn it. Remember, I had 5 years beforehand of learning that. I learned how to read a room. You get to the point where you're able to read a room. And so the ramps are here, that this is here, that is there. Yes, our Wranglers are so important. But it is those other things that you learn over the years.
Yeah, it's another thing which I was told is like, even though I wanted to raise my head up so I could see out the mouth, I had to stare at the camera
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
at the head level.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I managed. I managed. Yeah.
Well, and it gets easier, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it got much easier. But it just, I think the funny thing is when we do like a half of a show and then you hear like the dancers or maybe one of the guardians say, "Hey, did you see the stars in the front row?" I can't see anything. I can see the edge of the stage and I can see the thrust and that's it. That's all I can see. And occasionally some kids dancing right next to the stage, but
Wow.
I can't even see the front row. So yeah, but it's right what you said. It's just like you keep your parameters. You can't go too far. You don't want to be falling off the stage. Thank God, goodness, none of us did.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, right. And I always tell people, I'm like Spider-Man, right? My spidey senses, my senses became amazing from my hearing to my smell to eye I mean, I was able to use all those things to compensate. Were you able to do the same?
Yeah, over time, like I said, over time, the camera, like I said, we got to an annoyance, like I said, and then it was a big difference of depth perception.
Right.
So looking at a camera, it was a lot closer. It's just like looking in a mirror in a car. Yeah,
Sure.
It's a lot closer than you think it is.
Yeah.
But
Right,
again,
Jurassic Park, the big dinosaur in the mirror.
Wow.
Don't go off the thrust pad. Yeah.
That's right, exactly. Don't go off the pad.
And then you're on a scooter, and it's like, okay, I'm free. I'm doing the scooter. Make sure you hit the brake and don't miss the brake.
Right.
Wow.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up because we had props. So you add that. What is that like coming up on stage with that scooter?
Yeah, that was an experience. That took a while because the shoes are oversized
Right.
and the scooter is so small, and you would have to do it the same way at the entrance at one point.
Wow.
And get to the X spot or whatever at the proper time. Not too fast, not too slow. But I look back and I'm like, there could have been some dangerous times, if I didn't really go too fast and then smash right into Barry on accident. Yeah, that'd have been a show to see that night.
Did you ever miss it?
The
spot you with the scooter? Did you
No,
ever
I
go
never
too
did.
far?
No, I never did. Yeah, I guess I wasn't as fancy as a Fuji as we all call them. As,
Wow.
Kyle. I think Kyle, he got so comfortable with it, he was doing tricks with it, the scooter after a while. But no, I never missed a spot. And then the big drum, I was able to see that because I got to raise my head a little bit. But yeah, those were the two big props, I have to say. That were mobile. And then the dancing, the big dance at the end, where I went out to close to the end of the thrust. Again, I just had to make sure that.
For I Love You with the tape.
I Love You, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I don't think I look back. I don't think I have any wipeouts.
I've got to think that I tripped maybe one or two. I know I had some stumbles and some things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
But the physical aspect of keeping that going every night.
Yeah, well, I was lucky. Like I said, I at the time I had the voice acting plant. There's no air conditioning in there. It was July,
right?
And I was pretty much in prime shape. I was very lucky. I think I look back. Maybe I was like 130 pounds, and I weighed 165. So let's put it that way.
Wow.
That was ideal for that time. But,
yeah. So how much did you weigh when you started?
Oh, okay, I got you there. When I started, I probably weighed about 138.
Wow.
But I remember I got some pictures of me, like I said, you just drain all that water out of your body.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I said, it was a natural sauna. I think I got below 130 at one point.
I started at like 185, and in the first 3 months I was down to under 1 like 155, something like that. So I'd lost about 30 something pounds in 3 months.
I do remember that you
And
better
Sloan called my parents, my mom, to prepare her.
And Sloan
Wow.
said, you better fatten up because this is not funny. You're losing
No.
way too much weight too fast.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom, she called my mom to prepare her for what I was going to look like when they picked me up at the airport. And if I've never told this story, maybe I've never told this.
Oh, I never heard this.
We got home, and my mom made up this, probably because Sloan told her to. She made up this big spaghetti dinner.
Wow.
Meatballs, the whole thing. That night, I was getting sick, threw up every aspect of it, and my dad had to take me to the hospital. I couldn't hold anything down, nothing.
I didn't hear this.
Yeah, and they had to give me 2 IV bags. I was so the tank was so low. They gave me 2 IV bags, and I got home that night, and I woke up 24 hours later. I literally slept through a whole day.
Wow, Terry. No, I've never heard that story. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, true.
My
true
costume
story.
some way for yours is of course much more heavier than everybody's. Yeah.
Well, and we were also on stage longer.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We
Yep,
were on
right.
stage. Bernie was on stage. Goodness gracious, almost 10 minutes before you guys came out. But yeah, it was such a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The physicality, because I've been doing sing-alongs and that kind of stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing to this extreme. And oh yeah, I lost all kinds of weight.
And that's probably because of you. That's why they said, okay, during this act one, during this act two comes in, during this act one comes back in. We're alternating.
Well, yeah, because we had gotten to the point. We did that the whole first year. The one.
Oh, I remember that. Oh yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
I remember us. I don't know, somewhere February, March, and you guys were barely able to jump off the ground, and I was having ankle issues. Yeah, it was a challenge.
Wow. Wow.
Your memory is very sharper than mine because I just kind of just. I don't know. I don't remember that part, but you're probably right, though. You're probably right.
Oh, I'm right on it because I remember I was having all kinds of things, but it's nothing against anyone. I mean, when you're doing that kind of a physical show, and I think it's one of the most important parts of this story because none of us are trained actors. It's what I love to tell about this, right?
Right, you're exactly right.
Right. None of us were. Kyle wasn't. Jeff Ayers was a cheerleader. I mean. Even David Joyner, he'd done some modeling and things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
In New York, we'd all have to have cards and all of that stuff. But in Texas, you don't need those things. But it's the things that they were looking for, right? Our heart. I was a cross country runner, so that part.
That's what I remember.
The physical aspect of that. I think you had more rhythm than I did. I didn't have all that. My mom had to show me how to dance and all that stuff. Did you not know that?
No, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, I didn't know how to dance. My mom was a professional dancer, and she taught me how to do all that stuff.
Oh my gosh, no, I never knew that. I still to this day when we go to weddings and receptions, like, when did you learn how to dance? I'm like, just always had it. This is natural.
I remember you dancing all the time.
My friend Boss told me the rubber band man.
Yes.
Wow.
That was like the biggest compliment. I'm like, you're a rubber band man. You know how to dance. I'm like, I don't know. I guess I do. Yeah, no classes, no nothing.
Oh, I remember that. I remember you dancing all the time.
Oh yeah. All right. I still do. Yeah.
I would be disappointed if you weren't still dancing.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to get over this picture of you in that robe listening to Shania Twain. Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. So tell me some of your favorite cities.
Oh my gosh, the favorite city. Jeez. Oh, right off the bat. Memphis. I love Memphis. I love Nashville. I
Wow.
could go to Nashville any day of the week.
What do you love about Nashville?
Oh, the music. Like, yeah, you walk into any of the place, there's live music playing. That was just crazy because you hear it on the TV and that. Like,
Mhm.
whatever. It's just a ploy to get you there. No, it's true. And it's not a big little restaurant or bar. It's a tiny little bar. And
Mhm.
there's a guy up there with a guitar and maybe a percussionist, and that's it. But just like, just being part of that is like, oh my gosh. And it's they're like right next to each other too, which is like, okay, I'm tired of this guy, let's go see the next guy. But the
Mhm.
Grand Ole Opry, that made me like, wow, this is it. So, you see this on TV and you're in it. That blew my mind.
Mhm.
Uh, let's see here. Well, New York, of course. Yeah, Lee and
Mhm.
we jumped all around. I never forget. I was in line. Actually, they got spiral staircase up to Statue of Liberty, and we were
Wow.
in there for like an hour and a half, and it wasn't moving. And Lee's just like, "You sure you want to do this?" I'm like, "No, let's not do this." So we just
Wow.
went off someplace else. And now I look back at, I should have stayed in line because I've never done that. I never went to the top of the Statue of Liberty yet. It'll be my 55th birthday next month. So it's on
Wow.
my bucket list. What are the other places we went to?
50,
Midland,
55,
Texas. Midland,
55,
Texas is not one of them.
Which
55, 55. How did you get so much older than me?
well, speaking of which, he's now 56 as I'm taping this now. Continue on.
I passed you a couple years back, I guess. Yeah.
Well, maybe not that by that much.
Yeah, what I always say, how do we get Midland, Texas? How do we end up there?
It's funny. Midland, Texas. I think it was just putting. When you do those shows like that, you can't. You got to be ready for New York, right? So I
Right?
think it was just another one of those cities to, you know, get us feeling comfortable
Okay,
as a
okay.
cast, right? Because
Okay.
we did. I think we only. I don't know. I guess we did a week in Fort Worth. I think it was a week of shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We did they did the two in Midland, and then we were off in St. Louis, and I remember that was huge.
oh yeah. I remember bumping into a family in the elevator, and they were from Lincoln, Nebraska. They traveled all the way just to see Barney.
Wow.
And I remember saying to them, "Yeah, we want to see Barney so bad because he's not coming to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Wow.
He's coming to Lincoln, Nebraska." And they're like, "Yes." I'm like, "Yeah, eventually." Oh, well, we're here anyways. And then there were people with signs for tickets out in front.
Oh.
And this guy here, Mr. Kenny Rogers, Mr. G. Mm-hmm. He
Hold
was
on.
out
Let me
there,
quit.
Rogers. This guy here, Mr. Kenny Rogers,
Wow. Wow. Continue on.
Mr. G. Mm-hmm. He would go out there and say, "Here's some tickets. There you go. Get in the show." Yeah, that just shows you how big it really was. If people just with signs say 2 tickets for Barney, please. Yeah, that just that pumped me up even more to put on a great show for everyone.
Well, and what was it like for you the first time you roll out on that scooter and you hear all those kids excited to see BJ?
It was really exciting, because you think they just want to see the big man, the big purple. They want to see Barney, but as soon as I came out, just the cheer was just as loud
Mm.
for me and Baby Doll. And again, it got me
Mm.
going. It pumped me up. I just forgot about how fatigued I was. Even though like in LA yeah, we did like they pumped out like 3 shows in one day.
Yeah.
In New York, it was 2 shows, and it was just like, oh my gosh, we're not superhumans, but yeah, it just the roar kept me going.
Yeah, Josh and I talked about that the other day, doing the 3 shows. That one Saturday that we did it, and we never did that again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think the one that really got me, I think we were in the Alamo, I think I want to say.
Where?
Yeah, it's in Houston, Texas, possibly.
Yeah, I remember playing Houston.
It was one of those where we actually drove the bus in. It was just that large of a arena.
No, that was Toronto.
That
Wow.
was Toronto? Oh, okay, Toronto.
We rode that bus in Toronto.
Okay, Toronto. But I remember
I've got pictures of that in Toronto.
You got pictures? Oh, yeah, I remember one of the shows. I thought it was Texas because everything's big in Texas.
Yes, it is.
That's what I've heard.
Yes, sir. No, it is.
Where it was, the audience was 10,600, and when Barney came out, it was just, you heard the cast and crew go, oh my God, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, the Sky Dome. We played the Sky
That
Dome.
was okay. Yeah.
And those buses were in there. That was crazy.
That was nuts. That was, I couldn't believe that he's that many people in there, but as you said, it was just that big. But yeah, I will never forget that roar, because everybody just went, oh my God, this is intense.
Wow.
You felt like I said, you felt like a musician. You felt like, somebody big on tour. It just,
Yeah, see, I had done some of that before the tour. I had done in Minnesota a sing-along, 3 sing-alongs, one day, 3 sing-alongs.
Okay.
16,000 people per show.
Wow.
It was at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds, and yeah, I mean, you've never heard anything like 16,000 people, and it's just Barney, and it's no backdrop or anything. It was so loud, it's so crazy that so I was kind of prepared for that tour because I had done some big things like that,
right?
But it's not something you ever just accept. It's not, oh yeah, it's another show. I mean, there's nothing like coming out to that roar, and the running, the jumping, and the kids yelling and screaming and blowing kisses. It's powerful.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it is. That is. It just, like you said, that's what kept me going. When I saw these kids dancing in front of the crowd or the stage. And it's like, it just got me all pumping up. Like, let's go. No, you're not tired. You're not tired at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I never, it's so funny. Like I said, I would miss people when we do that on the theater, when we go on vacation back home for holidays and that.
Yeah.
And very Pearl would be just the opposite. Oh, finally a break. I've been like, what? You're like on stage for 18 minutes, that's it? You need a break? Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there is a break. I do understand the break of being on the road that much. And we talk a lot about it now because, we had cell phones, but we didn't have smartphones. We didn't have computers. We didn't have all that stuff. The internet like we know it today, right? So when you were on the road, like you were gone. Like I talked to my parents maybe once a week, several times a month, but I was gone. We were, that cast and crew, when we say family, that's what we really were, because that's the people you were around with for long periods of time.
Oh yeah, that's right. Lee and I hung out pretty much every day. Yeah, you're just like, what are you doing? I don't come over to my hotel room. No, come over to my hotel room. We would watch movies. We just get out. We just get out wherever we're at.
Right.
I mean, like New Orleans. I mean, oh my gosh, there's the that I love. New Orleans was intense. When we went to go visit Josh's family.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that was like nothing I've ever experienced. And then Barry and his wife Heather, I think it was.
Yeah.
They broke out because of the crawfish, and they went to the ER. but
Yeah.
they did it because they would never experience anything like that again.
Yes, I remember that really well.
Oh.
This was great and everything. We gotta go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we took what? Was it 2 tour buses?
Two tour buses, that's right. Two tour buses.
Yeah, in small town Louisiana to a crawfish boil.
Oh no, that's right. We had something like misadventures. We had the go karting.
Yep.
That was started out slow, but that came intense because
Wow.
we would jump different drivers and all that, and we passed against crew, and I mean, I got to the point where I remember going wheel to wheel with everybody, and like trying to get them off the road, and you're cheating and all that. Oh, it was just like I said, it was a family, but it was such a great time. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of some others. I think another one was when we were in Mexico. We took all the kids to see the pyramids.
Yes.
Yes, and
We
that's
went to cast, and some of the cast and crew went to that too. You were
and
there.
that's when Montezuma's revenge caught up to me. I wasn't able to go because I had to stay back in the hotel.
If you're wondering why Pat O'Connell was on this week, that's the reason why right there. He's hysterical.
Yeah.
Well, it hit me while we were down there. I got hit on it.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of a show. Right in the middle of a show, and yeah, I had a rough few hours.
Oh.
A lot of sweating and all right, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess I lucked out. I was not in the class.
Yeah, a dark room and some fans, and I think it's a lot of tears. And it was ugly. Well, and not only that, people don't realize the altitude in Mexico. Remember having to use the oxygen tanks?
Yeah. Here's something I do remember. I can't remember what it was, an outdoor arena, and it was. I don't know.
That was in Monterrey, Mexico.
That was it. And I remember watching one of our crew guys walk by with just shorts on, and he's dripping wet with sweat, and then saying to us, "Don't overexert yourself. Just do as much, as little as possible." And of course, you have the Spanish version of it.
Yes.
Whoa. Whoa.
Boy, you don't throw away anything, do you?
And Act 2, of course.
Yes.
Wow.
I kept everything. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you try to rally your head to that, and it's like, that's okay, let's get in here and let's get out of here.
Yeah, but remember how big those crowds were?
Those crowds were big. Yep. Yep. Those crowds had me going also. But
So what was name me your favorite city?
name my favorite. That is so rough. That is so tough because I love every city I went to. But I have to say New Orleans because, like I said, you were together after the shows on the weekends. We had some great times, with at O'Brien's, or we went.
I remember you dancing a lot in New Orleans.
Oh.
You're probably right. Yeah, you have meeting one too many hurricanes at O'Brien's. Yes. And like we would, I don't know what's in that hurricane, but after 2, you lose your voice. Yeah.
Oh.
Your inhibition as well.
Yeah, right.
What was it like for you? Because we had these experiences the same. Getting to perform at Radio City Music Hall.
Oh, see that? You just got my heart right. Because some of those, you would see the outside of the theater. You're like, this is just a thing. You get inside, and your mind is blown how beautiful it is inside. I'm trying to think of some other ones. There were ones that just knocked me out. But I think the funny thing for me was when we did go to LA.
Okay.
And we were told by Sloan, okay, little dinos, do not leave the dino pit. because we don't want to see children, small children, finding out that there's little people in the dino costume.
Yeah, because the back was kind of closed.
Yeah. So after a while, Leah looked at me, and I looked at him, and go, "You ready to go? Yeah, let's go." So we put our street clothes on. We just walked out, and we bumped into Jeff Fox, and that
Wow.
was the only person we got to meet while we were there. And he was like so down to earth and everything. He goes, "Hey, how you guys doing? We're doing all right. Hey, you guys doing a great show and that for the kids and my family." So thank you, Mr. Foxworthy. Shook his hand, and that was it. And Lee's like, "Do you want to keep on going?" I'm like, "I don't think you should." Oh, in trouble. Yeah, so but we were hearing everybody was bumping into all these different celebrities, but that was me and I was the only celebrity we got to bump into in LA. But we did. I think we stayed. It's called the Judy Garland, Holly and Judy Garland or something like that. And there were stars walking around there, and I'll never forget. And one of the kids told me, my son Colin was walking around, and he's this gentleman with a big gray beard and bushy hair, and they just patted him on the head and everything. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And everybody's like, they came back later. Do you know who that was? I'm like, oh no, who was that? You really don't know who that was? I'm like, no, I don't know who that was. So that was a man from who started on the electric company.
Mm.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
No.
No, who
Now
was
I'm
this?
getting myself going here. Oh boy. Um, I can't think of his name, but he's a very well-known black actor.
Was it Morgan Freeman?
Morgan Freeman. It was Morgan Freeman. Yeah,
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. I was just like, because when they're not at when they're at a costume, when they're just themselves,
Right.
they're just laid back, just like you and I. Bumped into Johnny Lane. He was a big guitarist at the
I
time.
remember Johnny Lane. That was very cool.
Yeah,
Because he
Wow.
was young back then. I mean, he was very young. His career was starting off. We
yeah.
ran into him.
I shook his hand, and his hand pretty much went halfway up my arm. You know,
Wow.
but I was just amazed. The people just walking around that Howard and Judy Garland. I was like, wow, this is pretty intense. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but yeah, it was so cool for me. It was just it was surreal. I guess that's the word to really say.
Well, I can't wrap up without talking about what are you doing these days?
Right now, I work with autistic kids. What I
Wow.
do is I help sorry about that. Transportate them. Oh my gosh, look at this! Wow. I drive them.
Have you been drinking those hurricanes again?
No, there's nothing here, really.
Wow.
I transportate them. There they go again, dude. From Virginia to Maryland to private schools, and I talk to them. I learn. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about autism because a lot of people don't know the difference between anger and frustration. And it's
Yes.
just frustration, they go, oh, that child over there, he's angry all the time. And you find out, it's just like you and I, the slightest thing that some are nonverbal. And once you figure out the puzzle, they become your best friends. Um, and I'm kind of moving upward. I have a job interview this Monday
Wow.
to be at one of the schools that I do transport the kids to be a health professional,
Wow.
associate. And I'm kind of very excited about that because I
Oh.
didn't think what I was doing for the last 3 years was going to turn into something. And I love waking up every day and talking with these kids, and I do entertain them. I sing along to songs in the car and everything.
The
Do my
rubber
dance.
band man comes out. There it is.
That's it. It comes out. Even though I don't know the words of the song, I still hear the beat. Yeah.
Wow.
I still got the rubber band in me. I don't know what it is. Yep. And my daughter
Oh,
and I, Yeah,
It's not going anywhere.
yeah. But when she's really young, is I have a 12-year-old daughter, and she and I were best buds, and she herself is a theater buff. She's
Very cool.
they middle school right now in theater, and actually with this through a friend, you might know this friend's name, Gary Pearl.
I do.
We're gonna be seeing Kino on my birthday, December 11th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're all talking.
Which is, she's at, I was closing that 56 part. But anyway, continue on.
We're gonna see. It'll be her first Broadway show, and but if I brought her down here, she'd be singing all the songs from Hamilton. That's how much she loves.
That's awesome.
I guess I passed the seed along, even though I didn't mean to. It happened.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, man, it's been so good seeing you and chatting with you and laughing with you.
You too, Carrie. Oh my gosh, it was just like when I saw your face, like I know this guy. Yeah, I saw him 23 years ago. He doesn't age. I don't know how he does it. You look exactly the same, my friend.
Well, thank you, and you look awesome. And then it just my heart warms when I see those moves again.
Oh, there we go again. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing in the band. I'm just doing the song on the radio. We're doing a rubber band, man. Mm-hmm.
Well, I loved what you did, and I love what you're doing now, man. I know you're making a difference with those kids, and it's so important.
Yeah. I love each and every one of them. They actually my board calls me when there's a problem. Can you sit in? Can you write in with this student on the way to school and back and try to figure out what's going on? And after a few rides, I figure out what's going on, and they're thankful for it. Like I'm a mentor to the area center. It's called Area 7 for what I do. It came natural. I don't know how it happened. It kind of happened after all the years. It just I figured it out.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for coming on the show and chatting, and I love it.
So thank you so much for inviting me on your show there, Carrie. I had so much fun.
Well, we have too. It's good seeing you, Pat.
You too, Carrie. Bye. See you later.
Thank you so much for watching Purple Roads. I won't be able to stop laughing. Remember to keep your eyes, ears, and your heart open, and you'll find your purple road. We'll see you next week.
So that was Purple Roads, episode number 86. Pal Connell, BJ Body Actor, Boy's Big Surprise. Oh my god, the rubber band man. Oh yeah. Amazing stuff, man. So he just loved to do the rubber band stuff, but rubber band man. But anyway, it was hilarious to watch. It was amazing, successful, everything. And that was LJPCBM episode number 1163. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for the next one. It's gonna be LJPCBM episode number 1164, which will be about my reaction video to Purple Roads episode number 87, which is a Chuck E. Cheese reaction video. Eric Neal, puppeteer, writer, musician for Chuck E. Cheese. Until next time, Sue Joseph Papa Baby, Guru LJPCBM gonna pursue, so say out. See ya.
Given unto me this life I'll never take for granted, and given all the time I failed to really understand it, I never sought to meet the maker of reality, the one who gave the life that which is always happening, but I tried all the time. Why was I the one to see things as I do under the moonlight and the sun? Perception is the question, and the giver holds the key.